Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Eli here. So today we're going to be working on my targa seals and some other various weather strips. And I'm going to show you what I did to prep them. Actually, I'll do that now. My little toolbox. The mess, I need to clean it up. But so I've got a rubber cleaner here, which basically what this does, it's pretty obvious, right? But it preps the rubber surfaces, weather stripping, for any sort of silicone or grease or protectant that you're going to be applying to it. So went ahead and followed the directions on this. Didn't do too much of it. Actually, the car, as if you've been following me, I try to keep the car clean as much as possible, but I haven't done the weather stripping yet. But what this did was any of the old residues or protectants and junk that was on there before, it go ahead and cleans that and leaves a nice surface ready for you to protect. So this is some of the stuff that was on the seals, which I promise I do keep it clean as much as possible. But yeah, years and years and I don't know, decades worth of stuff on here. So with that being said, I am going to be using this Shin-Etsu silicone grease. Bless you. Got this from the guys at Night Run Garage. So what this is widely popular, and if you don't have a tube of this, definitely check them out. Get yourself one. It's fairly inexpensive. But what this does is going to once you prepare the surface, like I said, let's go back over here. Actually, take a look at that finish. It actually looks super, super nice right now. That nice matte finish. This is rubber, obviously, but it has a nice clean feeling. Looks nice. And actually, I'll show you in here. This was all, actually I should have done a little bit beforehand, but I knew that prepping was going to take some time. But see how nice and clean it looks. This is ready for protectant. So what we're going to do here is use some of this silicone, and I'll tell you that just a little bit of this goes a long way. I have my own preferences on how to use this. First being obviously, like we talked about, the prep, but I like to use gloves and just apply it by hand. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a few. But essentially what we're doing is replenishing, like I said, trying to get some life back into this. And I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can see it right there. I don't expect this to come back at all. This is damaged. This probably needs to be replaced because, let me see if I can get a better view of that there. Yeah, that's not coming back. But the remaining portions of the rubber I definitely want to protect, as well as here. This looks actually really, really nice. Hold on a second. So yeah, as you can see, this is all prepped. Nice and sheen, ready to go. Also here. So I'm just going to do this side for now. The whole car is going to take me quite some time. So I'll go ahead and get ready. I'm going to use gloves for this. And I've just got a cheap set of gloves there that I'm going to use. I'll apply it, let it settle. Probably, I think it recommended, usually done like 5 to 10 minutes, something like that. It is nice and humid outside today too, so that may affect the curing time. I've got nowhere to go. It's super hot and also rainy season here, so let's see what it looks like in just a few. All right, so got my grease here. Open this up. So I'm going to use just a very little bit here. Actually, I'm just going to apply it right here for a second here. And that should be plenty for what I'm going to do right now on video. But let me go ahead and get this applied. And right away, you'll see the color, white grease. I don't want it to be super thick or it's clumped up. So I'm gonna use this clump that I've put out initially. Like I said, maybe a dime size or a little bit larger. And I'm gonna spread this out as evenly as I can. so that there's no real clumps. And I'm just going over all the surfaces. Pretty self-explanatory stuff here, but I just wanted to show you what this looks like as you're applying it. And I'm just gonna let this sit once I'm done, but my plan here is to do the whole entire car throughout the weekend here. I've got, it's Father's Day weekend, so today I get to do whatever the hell I want, this weekend at least. So, again, I'm just, as you can see, I'm working it in. I don't want any clumps. There we go. And as you're applying it, the color goes away. It's a white color, like I said, and it becomes more transparent as you work it in. So I am by no means a professional, if you haven't noticed that by now, but I've had pretty good success using this on other vehicles and doing it this way. Just taking my time, working in smaller areas at a time. And what I like to do, so I don't know if you can see it here, but there is a line that goes across. I'm going to give myself a stopping point right here. And as you can see, that small bit that I started out with has gone from here to just about here. I could probably spread this a little bit more thin and continue to go, but I like to do, like I said, sections at a time. So I'm going to stop here and here. I'm going to use the body lines, or sorry, the lines in the rubber are going to tell me essentially where I should stop. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll start on the other side, and I'll continue on with other parts of the weather stripping of the car. So there we go, looking pretty good. I'm going to step back and take a look. Yeah, it looks good. So I don't, these are in decent shape other than the tops here where the targa top closes along the outsides here. Again, I don't expect that to come back at all. It is damaged, so it'll need to be replaced at some point. And I'm not sure if targa seals are still available at the dealerships or not. I've done them before on other vehicles, on my other Mark IIIs back in the day, but it's been a long time since I've shopped for them. So if they are still available, let me know. But right now I don't really, like I said, I want to save these as much as possible, just by taking off all that gunk that was on here before from years and years and years. I mean, they didn't do a bad job. I mean, they're in decent shape, but I want this to last as long as possible. I don't really feel like replacing these, so I'm going to stop right here, and we're going to let this set. Like I said, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll come back. But while this is working in, I'll probably start on the fronts. All right, so I've gone ahead and come back about 30-35 minutes later, ready to go ahead and use a clean cloth, or dry cloth I should say, and go ahead and lightly buff the excess off, like so. And man, the finish is just freaking awesome. I mean, this is not a look good product. This is literally doing a job here, but it does look pretty freaking awesome. So there you can see there, versus the part I haven't wiped yet. See how wet that is. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the excess. Not trying to, quote unquote, buff the whole thing off, but definitely removing that excess layer. And I did close the garage door because it's freaking hot and humid, and it looks good. go. So, clean towel as expected, because I did prep this beforehand, which definitely helped. Definitely recommend prepping the surface. And yeah, that looks freaking great. And it's nice and soft. Supple is the word of the day, boys. Supple. So, yeah, so definitely. Here's the front. Yeah, it looks great. Very, very happy. And I mean, literally the touch of this stuff on the actual seals versus beforehand, night and day. So hopefully these things have swollen back at least a little bit, which I mean, definitely they have, without a doubt. And this will give me nice, like I said, both protection and just these things are going to do its job for a long time. So happy with that. So this is the finished product. There you go. It should not be wet. You should be able to touch it afterwards. I just did a quick one wipe afterwards just to get any excess off. Man, it feels so much different. It's like freaking magic. I really, this was a lot more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah. And there you go. So that's all for now, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I did want to take just a moment here to thank my very good friend for doing something very special for me a few weeks ago. You've seen me show it on my Instagram already, but Joe Rady from Rady's Rides, thank you so much. He took time out of his incredibly busy schedule, and I mean that this guy has been, him and his wife have been just traveling literally all over the world doing reviews on his channel. He's got over 1 million subscribers right now, and he took the time to spend, I don't know, it was just a few hours, maybe an hour and a half or so, which is a lot. You know, it's a lot of time for someone to spend out of their busy schedule to do a review on this car. So I met Joe when he had, like, I think he said 300 subscribers, but back when I was running a performance shop in Tampa, and he had this idea. He wanted to do YouTube. This was back in, I think he said 2017. It feels like yesterday. Maybe 2016, I don't remember exactly, but the dude was determined. I ran a Cars and Coffee event, and he asked, hey, is it okay if I do some filming? And back in that time, you know, it wasn't super prevalent for people to have these YouTube channels like it is today. So it was kind of new. I had to do a little bit of convincing to the powers that be, you know, at the dealership, because it's not my house, right? Just because, you know, I'm part of it doesn't mean that I make the calls. So did some convincing, and he did some really good content back then. So to see where he's at now, I am so proud of him and his wife, and they've been able to turn this into a career. And definitely check him out. Rady's Rides. He's on Instagram, all the social medias, but YouTube's the bread and butter for him. If you're considering a new car or just want to learn about what's going on today, what's relevant, check out his page. Thank you so much, Joe, for doing that for me. And that's something that I'll have forever now, a nice, cool review of the car, at least of how it sits right now. So I appreciate that. So check him out. Thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with me on today's video, and we'll see you on the next one.